Hello everybody, Steven here with Cardboard Coalition, and today I figured I'd bring you a quick, it should be really quick actually, how to play of the game Chicken by Keymaster Games. Sorry, not Keystone, Keymaster Games. We're also going to go over at the end really quick the expansion, and we do have the wood scenery out, but that's all just for show. Now this game is 2 to 8 players. You could probably play more, to be honest, because all it is rolling dice. But you get 8 little trackers for 8 people. You could use anything as a tracker, really, so you could probably do more. The age on it, I do not remember. It's over there. Oh, it says 8 plus. The age is 8 plus. Easy to play, 10 to 20 minutes. I got the little wrapper for this. I think it's the base game, what this tube would look like. But this is the special edition one, which doesn't give you much information to go off of. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the how to play, roll some dice, and I'll catch you guys in the top view. Alright, welcome to the top view. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's start with the setup. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to put out the player mat, right? Go ahead and get that player mat out there. Next thing you want to do is you want everyone to pick all the players they're going to play. We have it set up for 8 right now. But all the players pick their little token that they want to represent themselves. Let's see if we can. Come on, focus in. I know you can. There you go. Pick their player markers. If you want to see all the different ones, you can see the unboxing that we did and see all the different ones like the poop emoji and all that. Oh, we can get it to focus back in down there. There we go. All right. So everyone picks their player marker. They put it on the start, which is right there. It's yellow with all those arrows. After you do that, you go ahead and you set up the coop. You go ahead and put in the yellow dice in a row, and you put the orange dice in a row. Just so you guys know, the yellow dice are kind of your basic dice, right? And then you have your orange ones that might give you more rewards if I can find it. Can give you those double chickens, but also has 2 foxes, where the other die have 1 fox. All right, so you go ahead and you get your dice set up in there. The next thing you want to do is you find the first player, and by that is the last person to recently have held a chicken. I count eating chicken as that. You go ahead and give them these 4 white dice, and you're ready to go. Now, before we get into how the game plays, the one thing I will say is all this extra stuff that you guys see. This is the wood scenery. It's just for cosmetic looks. The thing I like the most is the little fence for the coop, right? The rest are just cute little things to look at. Like I said, you can see it in the unboxing and see what all this stuff is. Oops. And I'm knocking chickens over. I'm sure this will probably just get in the way of me teaching the game to you guys. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the game. First player has their dice. Now, at the beginning of their turn, you have 2 things you can do. You can go for it, which means you roll all the dice that were passed to you, or you can chicken out. If you chicken out, what you end up doing is you take any non-white dice, so any dice that aren't this color, and you go ahead and put them back in the coop. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and roll the dice, right? Once you've rolled your dice, there's some things you need to pay attention to. Put your chickens to the right, your foxes to the left. You cannot roll these dice, right? Any egg means that you hatch a die. So you take any die from in here. The trick is these are the riskier, but potentially more lucrative dice, right? You'll get more chickens possibly out. But you go ahead and grab one of those, you set them here. Once you have hatched, it's called hatching your eggs. You go ahead and roll any blanks, any eggs. I couldn't think of the word egg, any eggs. And then any eggs you added, we obviously added a blank. Now, it's always smart to add these as blanks so you know, because you don't want to add them as a chicken and mess up and think you have a chicken. So just add them as blanks. You always get 1 reroll. You get your first roll, 1 reroll. Oops, you go ahead and roll the dice again. You look through here. Like I said, I knew this was just going to be a hassle for me. All right, you look here. You got no more chickens, but you did get 1 more die. You know you're going to pass the other person. I'm usually a little bit of a butthole, and I will add an orange one to mess up someone else's rolling. But you can add anything in there. Then you go ahead and you count up your chickens. You have 2. Let's say we're the fox one. We go 1, 2. And then you go ahead and roll or pass your dice to the next person. Now, if you happen to get 3 foxes, you bust. 3 foxes means you get no chickens, you bust. Now, let's say on a roll, if you got your 3rd fox and you got yourself an egg, right? Well, this one has no eggs. That's interesting. I thought this one did. Heh, there you go. We learn something every day. I've been playing this for a while now. All right, so if you get 3 foxes like this, you bust. You take all the non-white eggs, you go ahead and put them back in the middle. I try to remember to put them in blank because it just reminds me to take them out blank. And then you would go ahead and pass this to the next person. If you get those 3 foxes, right? You would score nothing at that point. Now, remember, as I told you, this was our original thing, is you pass this to the second player, they can decide to roll it, go for it, or they can chicken out. So let's go ahead and say the second player decides to chicken out. What happens when you chicken out? You take, same thing as busted, you take your dice, you go put them back in the coop, and then that player who chickened out will lose 1 point. If you're in the starting zone, you lose no points. But let's say this was the second player, they were right here, they took the dice, they chickened out, they would lose 1 point, right? Put all the non-white dice in the middle, lose a point, and then you would go ahead and do a normal turn. You roll your 4 dice, you see what you got. Wow, that was an amazing turn. They got 4 chickens, no foxes, no eggs to add, no blank dice to re-roll. They go ahead and move their 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they would move hand their dice to the next person at the board. And you do that round and round until someone makes their way all the way to 25 or more chickens. And then the game is over. Now, let's go ahead, as I said, and explain the egg expansion. So the egg expansion, we'll go ahead and do a quick reset. There's only a couple small differences to the egg expansion, and it starts with your setup. So if you're playing the egg expansion version, which gives you these 2 dice, it gives you blue and mother hen. What you do in setup, you still take these dice and put them to the side, but all the colored dice, you go ahead and you put in the feed bag. So I'm going to collect all these up. I'm going to drop them in here. We're going to take old blue and mother hen. We're going to drop them in the bag. You give it a shuffle. And then you take out 5 dice instead of 6. And you go ahead and put them in the middle. Oh, it looks like we got both the special dice. That works out for teaching right now. So you put 5 dice in the middle. You put the bag down where it's in reach of everybody. We'll set it over here so we have an area to roll. All right. So once that is done, for setup, that's all you need to do. 5 dice in the middle. Draw them blindly from the bag. You give the first player the dice. They roll them. Let's see if I get some luck here. And I didn't. But they roll them, and everything else plays the same. You just have special dice now. So I'd put my chickens to the side. Now, let's say instead of a blank, I rolled an egg. What that means is I can pick one of the die from the coop, any die I want from the coop, or I can blindly pick a die from the bag, right? And go, I want this die. But for teaching purposes, let's say we grab one from the coop. We can grab old blue, right? Or mother hen, but let's go over old blue. Old blue has 2 sides. Let's see, we'll get it up close there. We have our bark side and our happy dog side. So how this works is you added blue, let's say you roll them. Nice, we got a happy dog, we got a chicken, we got a happy dog. Happy dog counts as 1 point, but you get that point at the end when you count your chickens. If you have 3 foxes and you get the happy dog, you don't get the point. Now, the other thing you could have rolled was a bark. Now, what a bark does is it cancels out a fox, right? So if you have a bark, you cancel out a fox. They say to put it to the left of the fox. I tend to put the bark on top of the fox, so when I'm looking down, I know that fox doesn't count. This allows, it cancels the fox, so now you need 4 foxes before you bust. Now, one thing I kind of jump forward on that, blue is always re-rolled if you get blue, right? Or not blue, if you get happy dog. The die is called blue. If you get happy dog, you always re-roll it. So let's say we pass this to another player. They rolled all these dice, right? Let's give us some stuff. Let's say they got blue. You got your eggs. You got another chicken. Blue must be re-rolled. So you go ahead and you would take all these. You would have added the 3 eggs right in the middle, and you would roll them all. Blink. And then you would sort them out again, right? Remember, you only get 2 rolls. You add another egg. You get lots more chickens. Chickens. Look at all, that's a good roll there. Look at all those chickens. And then you go on. So remember that happy dog always gets rolled. Bark does not. Bark blanks out a fox, right? So the bark goes ahead and cancels out a fox. All right, now the other die that we have, we'll just kind of drop these back in here. The other die that we have is mother hen. Now mother hens, like a lot of them, you have a fox, you have 2 foxes, you have 2 ducks hatching out of an egg, 3 chickens hatching out of an egg, you have double chicken, you have 1 fox, 2 foxes. Now with this one, if you roll a fox, it's obviously a fox. If you roll double chickens, they're double chickens. The special thing about this egg is if you roll the chick in the egg, I was going to say duck again, the chick in the egg, that counts as a chicken, and you get add an egg to the dice to roll. So egg, so you could tell it's an egg and a chicken. It's a chicken and an egg. So you get the point, plus you get an add a die to your collection. Now, what happens if you bust? This is with either blue or with a mother hen. If you ever bust, it's sort of the same, but what you do, take everything but the white dice, you go ahead and throw them in the bag, you shuffle it up, and then you make sure there's 5 dice in the middle. You put dice in the middle till you have 5, right? That is the difference there. And then, of course, if you chicken out, same thing. Let's say they have a handful of dice. You pass it to someone. They're like, nope, don't like those odds. I'm going to chicken out. They still lose 1 point. They keep all the white dice. They put all the dice of different colors back in the bag. Give it a shuffle. And you make sure you have 5 dice back in the coop. And it's that simple. That's how you play the expansion. And that's how you play chicken, right? Keymaster. I don't know why I want to keep saying Keystone. Keymaster game, right? And also how you play the expansion. And remember, this is just fancy scenery to make it look pretty. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Steven with Cardboard Coalition. Help us grow the coalition by liking, commenting, subscribing, and hitting that bell notification so you know when we put out a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.